Can a company be sued in a state where it doesn't even have an office? One Supreme Court case changed that forever. This is International Shoe versus Washington, the case that created the modern minimum contacts doctrine. The central question involves a state's power. Washington attempted to collect unemployment taxes from a company incorporated elsewhere. International Shoe argued that Washington courts had no authority over them because they had no physical office in the state. This posed a critical legal question. Can a state exercise personal jurisdiction over a company that has no office there, but regularly conducts business? To answer this, the Supreme Court established a new constitutional standard that replaced the old rigid rules. Before this case, the traditional rule required physical presence, like an office or a registered agent, inside the state borders. The court introduced a modern rule, the minimum contacts doctrine. It's about fairness and the quality of the interaction. A defendant may be sued in a state when it has sufficient contacts there, making jurisdiction fair and consistent with due process. This means we look at sales, shipping, and customer interactions to see if the company purposefully availed itself of that state's market. Let's apply this to the facts of the case. International Shoe didn't have a storefront in Washington, but they were far from absent. The company employed numerous salespeople in Washington who regularly solicited business and displayed samples to potential customers. While contracts were finalized elsewhere, the company continuously benefited from the legal and economic protections of doing business inside Washington. This wasn't just a one-time transaction. It was a systematic and continuous course of business activity within the state. The Supreme Court's reasoning focused on the evolution of modern commerce and the concept of fundamental fairness. The court believed that fairness, not merely a physical line on a map, should determine whether a court can exercise power. Modern interstate commerce required a more flexible rule to ensure that companies couldn't hide behind state lines to avoid their obligations. The goal was to balance the state's interest in protecting its citizens with the defendant's right to fair play and substantial justice. The court's holding was definitive and reshaped civil procedure forever. The Supreme Court ruled that Washington could exercise personal jurisdiction because International Shoe had sufficient minimum contacts with the state. This is why every law student learns this case. It is the foundation of modern personal jurisdiction and civil procedure. It defines the constitutional limits of state power and ensures that lawsuits are brought in a way that respects fundamental rights. Whether you're in 1L Civil Pro or studying for the bar exam, International Shoe is a name you will never forget. To summarize, International Shoe created the minimum contacts test, ensuring that personal jurisdiction is grounded in fairness and justice. Follow us for more landmark cases every law student should know. This is Legal Education, reimagined for the future. Legal Tech AI, legal intelligence, powered by AI.